Also, what's happening?
I'm live.
What's happening, folks? Doski Woski, all that good stuff. Voch Lombardi for my people live over here. Jeff Cavanaugh for his people live over there. Y'all should know us by now. You should know us. Humbly, you should know us by now. Scoutkast pod, all that good stuff. Brother Jeff, we ain't do one last week because it was cold outside, but you know,
It was.
You good and all that?
I live by a fire station. So I actually ended up with electricity guilt because I never lost power. And I know everybody did, or a lot of people did, and I had zero struggles. So I have guilt over my electricity staying on.
Hey, man.
So move by a fire station. If you want to keep the lights on, move by a fire station.
Or it just not snow in Texas for another 30 years or so, because that's how life works. It was a little warm outside today, but hey, good to have you back. Good to be back with you, sir. I ain't watch a whole bunch of film last week.
Oh my God.
I ain't have internet. Shit. I couldn't watch much. Couldn't watch.
Oh, see? So I feel guilty for you. You had problems, didn't you?
Hell yeah. But Jeff, I took it into perspective because it sounds goofy if I'm complaining about, oh, I don't have lights at my crib. Or, oh, it's cold. Let me go in my truck to charge my phone. It just sounds real snobby and bratty. So it was inconvenient, but we could have been homeless, Jeff. You know what I'm saying?
That's true. Yeah, that would have been worse.
You know,
that would have been worse.
So, for anybody listening over there, think about your problems. It was 40 degrees in my crib, but it was 19 outside the motherfucker. So it is what it is. But we're gonna talk some draft today, brother Jeff. I ran into a couple topics, a couple things that were interesting to me. I don't like mock drafts. I think they're the devil.
Oh, I love mock drafts.
I think they're the devil.
I love them.
I hate in particular the simulators because they just kind of let miscellaneous people just be in like control of them. But
I love those.
But when these media scout people do mock drafts, we should pay attention to them a little bit because they're drafting based on the buzz that they're hearing. So let me ask you a question, sir. I saw this mock that had Devonta Smith falling to the Minnesota Vikings, and they didn't trade up to get him.
Where do they pick? Where are they at?
Like 14?
I can see it. I can see it.
So cool. Let me ask you this. Devonta Smith shouldn't fall because he's small, but in your mind, do you think he would fall because he's small?
Yeah, like if you want to get Devonta Smith to 14, 15, 16 to that range, I think all you got to do is have Kyle Pitts go, have Jamar Chase go, have Jalen Waddle go. And I think your fourth receiver / offensive weapon guy, yeah, that could easily get there. Like with the offensive linemen and then throw in Parsons and then throw in 4 quarterbacks, maybe even 5. Yeah, that could happen because I don't know what order to put those receivers in. I really don't. If we're going to be honest, I don't know. I don't know.
You don't know the order that you would put him in. Okay, so look, you don't know for sure that you like Devonta Smith over Waddle or Chase. But when you say that those 3 guys are better than Pitts or some of these other or some of the defenders that we don't feel great about. Now, one thing I just want to say for everybody, teams can't draft. Right. So like teams suck at drafting. So if Smith falls because teams suck at drafting, that's a whole nother conversation. I just want to pick your brain on this a little bit.
Pitts is a stud, Voch. Pitts is a stud.
Here's a part 2.
Pitts is a stud. The only thing is that he plays tight end. That's the only thing that scares me is that he's a tight end.
So here's part 2 to my question, sir. I've been also seeing in those mocks consistently Kyle Pitts not getting past pick number 7. If the Eagles get Pitts at 6, I would do a choreographed hump dance in my living room. I would laugh a little bit on the inside. Have you dug deep into Kyle Pitts yet?
I have not technically studied Pitts, but I have watched Pitts while studying like 4 different DBs.
Sure. Pitts can play, but does it bother you that he's a tight end? Like, is he just a receiver playing tight end? Like, what's stopping us? First of all, I know Pitts is a really good player, but the value at tight end is weird. I know how you feel about drafting linebackers early.
Right.
That's how I feel about drafting running backs and tight ends early. All the best tight ends are either a product of an offense or a product of a really good quarterback. Name the good tight ends that's just out here by themselves, just good by themselves. I don't think that really exists. So my big thing with Pitts, if he's just a receiver running past safeties and linebackers, wouldn't it just be smarter to get a 7th round receiver to run past safeties and linebackers like Darren Waller-esque, right? Or if he's a receiver, brother Jeff, is he better than the first 3 receivers that we was just talking about taking?
No, like if you were never going to line him up in line, or you weren't going to line him up in line a decent amount, then no, I don't think he's a better receiver than any of the top 3. But like the thing about every draft conversation is, to do it justice, you have to go from like 8 different angles. Because with Kyle Pitts, I'll go back to one of the things you said. Mm-hmm. The reason you should be scared of tight end, and the reason you should be scared of linebacker, and the reason you should be scared of running back early is the positional value thing. And Pro Football Focus actually did a really good article on this. The drop off over the last 10 years, when you just look at all the different positions, the drop off from round 1 to 2 and 2 to 3 is its worst at corner. So that's the one that what we're saying is the league is good at evaluating corner. There's a drop off from round 1 to 2 and 2 to 3.
Sure.
Same thing for offensive tackle. Same thing for quarterback. At tight end, it's very small. At running back, it's literally 0. So in theory, you would say, I don't want to take a tight end early because historically I can find the same guy later. But doesn't that fly in the face of, we study these guys and we have an opinion?
Sure.
Like Pitts can play.
Yeah.
Pitts is a beast, but history tells you no. Positional value tells you no. So I just think you got to balance all that. And then if you still want to pull the trigger, well, if you end up wrong, you deserve it because you went against data. Take that for data.
and I'm asking this though because this isn't just a Cowboy show. This is a all 32 team production or whatever. And like, just think, if you a team like the Eagles or something, I even saw like Cincinnati drafting Pitts, which would be weird to me, but I think I'd be a little pissed off. And me being a Cowboys fan, so just my personal perspective, I saw these doomsday mock draft situations because I hate them because people just put them shit together like that. And I think if Dallas went Pitts at 10, I'd be pretty upset about it, brother Jeff. I would be cool at the idea of how we could use him. But think about this. What would Pitts really do for you in this offense, right? He may get like 1,100 yards and like 7 touchdowns or something. That's fair. So now you got to ask yourself, can Jarwin and Schultz not do that? You see what I'm saying? And I think
that's what you got to ask yourself. Is taking Kyle Pitts going to upgrade something big time? And I think it does. Like, I think Jarwin is a big upgrade on Schultz. Like, Schultz had catches and yards.
Sure.
But for me, one of the things I like to look at with my tight ends is, okay, but tell me about the yards per catch. Mm-hmm. Because Dalton Schultz is more 7 or 8 and Blake Jarwin's more 11. And is Kyle Pitts going to be 13? Like, is my tight end now going to be, my off? It's hard because our buddy Bobby Belt, he makes a pretty good point where it's like, with the Cowboys offense, how much more efficient does Kyle Pitts make you?
Right.
You already have Cooper, Gallup, Lamb.
Yes.
Or is this redundant at some point to be like, I need an offensive weapon? Yeah. Maybe, but damn it, he's good.
He's really good. But then here's another angle on this too, just to put this in Cowboy land. It's for everybody, but just put this in Cowboy land. So Pitts would be interesting for us because he gives us a mismatch in like speed or something. Blake Jarwin was that dude. Blake Jarwin was a fast receiver in college that was bigger than everybody else. You know what I'm saying? So he's mismatch guy. And Blake was like, what, a 7th-round pick, undrafted, something like
that? Jarwin?
Yeah.
Crap, I forget. He might not have been drafted. I don't even remember.
Just go pick him up somewhere, right? That's what I think that tight end kind of should be in the league. And I think, and TJ Hawkinson was one of my favorite tight ends to ever watch film on. He ain't really tearing it up 8th overall picks worth in Detroit. Teams like the Giants, I've seen the Giants want to mock Kyle Pitts or whatever because Evan Ingram ain't doing great. Ingram's that kind of dude. You know what I'm saying? So I just think it's safer it's safer. Like if you a team, just that's early or whatever, you could take Pitts at anywhere between 5 through 13, or you could just take the best defender and take miscellaneous ass tight end in the later rounds, and you'll get the same value that you get. Pitts may be better, but the value will be the same. I think it's an interesting conversation.
And like for this team, the safest pick would probably be, in terms of if you want to go by position, the safest pick is in your first round picks. You want to take quarterbacks, edge rushers, offensive tackles, corners.
Sure.
That's what you want to take.
Sure.
And so for this team, if you wanted to, and you wanted to do it that way, where you're like, hey, I made the right safe pick, you could just narrow it down then to offensive tackles and corners at 10.
Sure.
If you want to be right and you want to be safe, just narrow it down to Rashawn Slater, Penei Sewell, and whoever your corners are.
And in my mind, I'm hoping for Rashawn Slater. If I can manifest anything into the universe, it's got to be Rashawn Slater for me. I just think that's where you get the best bang for your buck. He's offensive tackle 1 for me. And I hope teams get nervous about the short arm things or whatever, because he's got the best scouting report in the National Football League draft in 2021. His scouting report simply says, I whoop Chase Young. If your scouting report says I whoop Chase Young, you got to draft that dude off the rip, especially if you play Chase Young twice a year. With that being said, though, brother Jeff, you had an interesting tweet over the past couple of days, and I just kind of wanted you to bring it to the people and explain it. Then I wanted to put a little bit of bop in it on the back end. You said J.C. Horn is your cornerback 1 for now. Now, it's February 24th. We got till the end of April to figure this thing out. But as of now, J.C. Horn is your cornerback number 1. Explain, sir.
Okay, so I've seen now at least 3 games of each of the top corners, and I'll let people into my process.
Yeah.
When I am watching, like I've watched probably 15 to 20 corners, right? And when I'm watching them, you watch one, bam, you put him in the round grade you give him, and I don't worry about him for a while. Then I watch my next guy, put him in a round grade, and as you're going, you put them in their order. And so I have my order in there.
Yeah.
But then when I've seen them all, I will literally go back and I'll be like, all right, my first round guys, and I'll just read the notes. Like, okay, that's him. And when I did that, what I realized is I had Caleb Farley too high. I had Farley as cornerback 1. He had the least positive notes of my first round cornerbacks.
Yeah.
And J.C. Horn and Surtain, for me, are close. Because Surtain doesn't have anything I have to fix, but I also don't think he's as athletic or agile as Horn.
Sure.
So those two are kind of my battle. And I've got Horn, Surtain, Farley, Joseph. And you could put Joseph 3rd.
Let me kind of guess what your thoughts are on Farley. Is it that he's super athletic, but every time you think about him, you're just like projecting what he is or is not or whatever, what he's doing? Or if this happened in the league, what'll happen? Because that's what I find myself doing a lot. I think the one film that everybody kind of goes to with Farley is that Miami game or whatever, where he made all the big plays. I don't think he makes those same plays in the league. Like, it looks like he makes that play, but when you watch Farley, he gets beat off the line of scrimmage. He has this incredible speed to catch up, but he doesn't have nuance to slow down and look for the balls. He just kind of run through people. You know what I'm saying? While he's running routes with the receivers, what I call him doing. And when I look at him and go, man, like some ball placement quarterback is going to back shoulder fade the shit out you if you ain't going to slow down and look backwards. You know what I mean? So that's how I end up projecting with Farley, to where everybody else, I can just kind of concrete see what's going on with them. Now, it's a little different for me, and I got another question too. It's a little different for me because I got JC and Kelvin Joseph as my 1A, 1B guys. And
I can appreciate, because that's big nuts.
That's fam. But look, this is my thing about Kelvin. Let me just be fair with Kelvin Joseph. I'm not saying him in a draft perspective, because Kelvin Joseph is gun under the seat guy. He's y'all got weed guy. He's here's my mixtape link guy. You know what I'm saying? He's all those guys. But
he is literally guy who opted out of the bowl game, and his coaches wanted him to opt out of the bowl game. So 2 coaching staffs in college basically told him, you can go if you want.
Fair, all that good stuff. But talent-wise, if
we're doing tape.
If we just talk about talent, Kelvin Joseph is as good as those other guys. Plus, I've been saying this story for just for the past week or so. I remember watching Marcus Peters, and somebody told me, "Hey, Voch, what do you think about the corner that was beating up his coach or that choked his coach out?" Like, I'm not going to draft a player that choked his coach out. And I watched the Marcus Peters film. He was the best cornerback on tape, and I just had to trust that idea. I see the same thing with Kelvin Joseph, fam. You know what I'm saying? And I think a lot of people don't want to go there because we haven't been conditioned to talk about Kelvin Joseph as one of those top 3 dudes, and it's still February and like early. But I think the more you watch film on Kelvin Joseph, dog, the more you just kind of fall in love with that dude. I
think Newsom's the same way, by the way. Northwestern, Greg Newsome.
We're going to talk about Greg Newsome.
Okay. I was going to say, I think he's the same way. The more I watch him, I'm like, okay, that's probably a top 5 corner in this class.
It just kind of make you a little nervous when you start to mix names up a little bit. So because there's something else that, people just, they have to work themselves into changing their thought processes, right? Because we've been so conditioned with this idea that Surtain and Farley are top 10 guys. If you think a corner is better than Surtain and Farley, do you take them top 10 where you would take corner at? Because we've seen mocks to where somebody will take Pat Surtain at 6, or somebody will take Pat Surtain at 10 or at 12 or something. Okay, cool. If you watching film and you being righteous with your board and you think J.C. Horn or Kelvin Joseph are better than those guys, do you take them at 5, 10, or 12? Because I see all the time somebody say, yo, Kelvin Joseph is incredible. J.C. Horn, I'm going to trade back to 15 and go get him. But in my mind, if you think really highly of those guys, better than this corner that you've been ranking at 10 for the past couple months, why won't you take Horn and Joseph at 10? I'll take Joseph and Horn at 10 and not lose no sleep. What you think, Brother Jeff?
Yeah, you need to be able to. I mean, that's the thing. My guy brought us would call that, you don't window dress your board, right? We're not moving things. Like, you're putting them where you believe they go. So if I believe that somebody is better than somebody else and you were ready to take somebody else at 10, then you damn sure better take somebody at 10. And especially at a position like corner, if you think that the dude is an outstanding corner, you pick him. You don't play games with that. You don't say, well, what if I get back to 15 and he's okay? So now you're going to assume that you're the only one who has good scouting eyes and realizes that somebody who's not being talked about that way could go up that high. You're going to lose your guy.
Yeah.
So yeah, you don't play games with that. If you think JC Horn is cornerback 1, you pick him. Groupthink is not fun. You don't do groupthink on the draft. You got your guys. You seen them. You ranked them. Pick them.
One more question, sir, and then we're gonna move on to these player breakdowns because it's February, so we're really into day 2 guys, like early day 3 guys or whatever. So we just talking about these top guys because I think it's some good conversation about these top guys. But we deeper into corner right now. Let me ask you a question, Jeff. So what was I about to say to you? Watch this. Okay, cool. What makes J.C. Horn better than Pat Surtain, while what's making Pat Surtain better than a guy like Kelvin Joseph? Why you got him ranked the way you got him ranked?
Okay, so Joseph, my only problem with Joseph is I think he plays light. As in, and this is, you have to nitpick, right? I'm sorting through really good players.
Right.
So with Joseph, I think he really struggles to get off blocks and tackle, which isn't that important for a corner, but that's the same thing in routes. I think he plays like a guy who's 190 pounds or less.
Mm.
I love the way he covers. I love him in man. I love the way he moves. I love him in cover 3. I love a lot about him. I just think he plays light. That's my big Joseph thing. And with Surtain, I really don't have any big thing. Surtain might go run a 4.49.
Sure.
And maybe he runs a 4.56. I don't know.
Mm.
But, the things about Surtain that I'm putting on him is just that might get you beat in the league sometimes against certain guys. And with Joseph, I do have at least one thing where I'm kind of like light in the butt.
Do you trust Pat Surtain if you're because this is everybody's team. If you're a team that blitzes a lot and run a lot of cover 0, no safety help, cover 1, little safety help, would you trust drafting Patrick Surtain and just running him out there by himself on an island with no safety help?
This might be a terrible comp, but I am a little bit hesitant to say yes.
Mm-hmm.
But I felt the same way about Marlon Humphrey and he was kind of a physical, and I was like, oh, it's a zone guy and a tackling guy, and then it was like, well, crap, he got to the league and no problem.
But see, this is how weird this draft is, right? Because Marlon can run, Marlon could hit people, Marlon could man cover, and Marlon went like 12th or something.
Yeah.
And I think way more about Marlon than I do it, because I don't think Surtain does some of these things that Marlon Humphrey does well. But it's just this class that we dealing with. We got to put these corners here. You know.
Yeah.
So that's interesting that you said that. What makes me look at it is different situations, right? Is what teams can use them. If I'm running like a cover 2 zone or whatever, you give me Pat Surtain all day. He just got to run in the flats and jam people and run close and not have to worry about deep stuff. Oh, please. But I feel like if I was a team that blitzed a whole bunch, then I would feel much better about a guy like Kelvin Joseph and JC Horn. So good conversation for everybody in Jeff's chat box. Y'all let us know who you would like so y'all can run Jeff's algorithm up. People in my chat box.
Run the algorithm up. Come on. We do have people chatting, by the way. I'm gonna hit a couple of supers if that's okay with you.
Go ahead, because I'm going after you. Go ahead.
Human being, by the way, that's a hefty combo meal there. Appreciate you. Hey, dude, say we can't get a deal done with Dak. Don't put that on us. What QB would you take, if any, and would you consider trading up? You know who I keep seeing, and this is Voch's worst enemy, is mock drafts. But boy, I keep seeing Justin Fields dropping. He's dropping in people's rankings. In a world, Voch, in a world far, far away.
Indeed.
Where they know they're not going to get a deal done with Dak. They just can't. Todd France tells them to go away, and they all hang up on each other, and they're all super pissed. In this draft, I would say give me Justin Fields.
How come everybody hate Jerry Jones, but nobody talks shit about Todd France? I can't stand Todd. Todd France is the one making this shit difficult. Why don't we hate Todd France?
Todd France sabotaged the deal last year. Yeah. 2 years ago, I would blame the Cowboys. Last year, I would blame Todd France.
If it's a world where I had to try to live without Dak Prescott, then it'll be silly to not look at Justin Fields. But in that same world, if you get Dak Prescott signed and Justin Fields is on the board at 10, you put on your cap and trade down shirt right there.
Brick.
And we gonna get some picks. And damn all these guys we talking about. We picking at 15, player. Get your monies. Go ahead.
Joseph. Combo meal. How do you feel about trading Connor Williams for a safety/corner or a Gallup for Gilmore deal? I mean, if you want to do Gallup for Gilmore, but like those aren't things that I'm thinking. Those aren't things that I'm thinking about. Like if you could turn Connor Williams into a starting safety or corner, fine, go ahead, no problem. But like Gallup for Gilmore, I guess it is the deal last year of a deal. But that's something that I think about if. Thank you, Joseph. If the best player on the board at like 10 is a receiver. If I took Jalen Waddle at number 10, now I'm calling teams with corners about Michael Gallup. That's what are you shaking? What is he shaking? What is Voch shaking? What are you shaking?
I'm shaking my head, sir.
About what are you shaking at?
So like I understand that it's fun sometimes, but I think a lot of people take these trade scenarios like really seriously. And Voch,
can we won't net you Gilmore?
I don't think Gallup gets you. First of all, if that's like okay, think about what you're saying. Think about what you're saying, though. Like, hey, I will give you this player that I would love to give away for the best player at this position. Can we talk? Like,
well, but Gilmore corners get old in a hurry, and Gilmore might have just got old. They get old fast.
Connor Williams for a starting safety.
Well, yeah, but that's why like Connor Williams, I think, is a nothing to other teams, and for you, he's either a starting left guard or, as much as a lot of people like to give him hell, he's at least a really good backup guard in the NFL. So like he has value to you. I think the things you would talk about trading on the Cowboys, it's kind of depressing for real, because the answer is they don't have those things. There aren't guys on the Cowboys that people would want to trade for because they haven't drafted that well over the last few years. Like, could Gallup have some trade value? Yes. To a team that is really hurting a receiver, Miami. If they could throw you a 3 for Michael Gallup, might they do that? Yeah, maybe. But a lot of teams would rather just pick a guy than trade for what you have.
Plus, I think Gallup in your situation is more important than a 3rd round pick. because you probably end up taking a receiver in the third round. So like if you had an extra third round pick, I think you should draft receiver at some point this year. I don't know when, but like, come on, so just keep what works for you. And Gallup works for you. Gilmore may be trash over here. We don't know. Just relax. You got some more money over there, or
are you kidding me?
Get your money, man.
G-Do 22 with a dog picture. Oh, I love it. With the corner depth, how far apart are the top 10? Are there cards touching? If so, why not wait on corner? The answer to me, I think, and I appreciate you very much, I think the answer to me is you don't wait because corner's super, super important. Not only is it a big need, it's a super important, it's a super valuable position. But as far as how close they are, like I can just pull it up real quick for me. First round corners, Horn, Surtain, Farley, Kelvin Joseph at Kentucky. Second round corners, Asante Samuel Jr., Florida State, Elijah Molden, Washington, Greg Newsome, Northwestern, Aaron Robinson, UCF, Paulson Adebo, Stanford, Ifeatu Malifonwu, Syracuse. I got 6 dudes in the second round. I got 4 dudes in the first round. There are a lot of good corners. So all things being equal, maybe you could wait on that and go a different route because I think you can get a baller in the second round in this draft. But at the same time, don't be afraid to pick one early. Corner is important.
Plus, you might have to pick one early because that might be the best player on the board for you. You know what I'm saying? So you don't want to just say, I'm gonna pass up corner because it's corner later, but end up taking Russo or some shit. You know what I'm saying? Like just get your best guys.
I'm sorry, you said taking who?
I won't even manifest that, but you can go ahead and read it if you want to. I'm not gonna read it, but you can read it if you want to. So.
Unknown. Thank you. Thank you for your support. I appreciate it. Voch appreciates it. We can't go wrong at 10 unless we draft Gregory Rousseau.
That was a damn.
I saw our guy. I saw our buddy John Owning. I guess I don't know if he'd seen Rousseau, but I just saw him tweet. He was like, Rousseau's 3-sack performance against Pitt is the worst 3-sack performance I've ever seen. And I just hit reply. I just said, that's him.
Fam, I don't understand. But Voch, he had 15 sacks last year. Okay, 4 of them was against the worst guard I've ever seen in Pittsburgh. And 3 of them was against Pittsburgh, and 4 was against the worst guard I've ever seen in Florida State. That's 7. that's half. You know what I'm saying? And
halfway home.
All the rest of them, I'm sick of them. I don't even want to see it no more. So I'm not here for Russo. It's gonna be. I'm gonna get a good laugh at whatever team ends up drafting them though, because somebody gonna do it. But whatever. Frank Mason dropped the 5 in my super chat. He ain't putting no question on that, so appreciate you. Lamont says, is Joseph this year's Randy Gregory? Well, weed ain't illegal no more, so ain't no more Randy Gregory's. Randy's here to stay. Young AK dropped $2 Canadian. That's like $115, I think. Boss Man Fat is better than Kelvin Joseph. I don't know if you know this.
Same guy,
brother Jeff. Yeah, Boss Man Fat is his rap name. I don't know how to feel, but.
Oh, that's I got it. That moves you down around there. You got interests outside of football. That moves you down around.
But if now what happens if Kelvin Joseph and Kadarius Toney get into a rap battle? Because Kadarius Toney got a little mixtape on Spotify too.
Oh, got to drop him around. Hold on, let me move them both down around. You can't have interest outside of football. We ding you for that around here.
Interest in gold teeth. We got to get them up out of here. Appreciate you, Young AK. Enemy Michael says, what players will complement each other to hide the flaws in the draft? For example, does drafting past 13 then Grant help Pat's status? I mean, it would, but shit, you may not get Grant in a second. So just get the best guy.
But I do think that's relevant for some teams in this way. Like if you have and as Voch is saying, this is for everybody, not just Cowboy fans, right? This is for any team. But if you have a team that last year, let's say you were bad on the interior defensive line, you had bad defensive tackle play.
Sure.
And your linebackers getting hung up on blocks, and your defensive coordinator was terrible at his job, and everybody was lost, but whatever. Mm-hmm. Like if I could put magically Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, a 210, 15-pound linebacker, if I could put him on your team right now.
With Tyler Shelvin?
Yes.
Yeah.
Doesn't that work?
Sure.
Okay, I'm going to play this guy, Will Linebacker, who's not real good at taking on and getting through blocks, and then I'm going to take Fat Man Fat, and I'm gonna keep blockers off of you.
I need a sound drop. Hold on. I need it. Stop it. Shut up. I agree. But the question kind of made me feel a little weird because it sounds like, hey, we're finding a way, or hey, let's look for some way to make us feel better about drafting Pat Surtain. That's what the question comes off as. Like, Voch, if we were to just suck it up Pat Surtain, but then we just get a safety to make him better, would you feel better about Surtain? And I'm like, yeah, but I would also feel even more better with J.C. Horn with Richie Grant.
Right.
I would feel even better with the better corner behind him. But
and either way, what you really want to do is just draft our Darius Washington and not worry about any of it because he'll cover everybody and play safety and come play man and take away whatever. Just pick the 5'8" guy and don't worry about it.
Brandon Hart hit my super chat. Now, which Brandon are you? You're not Vegas Brandon. I think you might be Memphis Brandon. Appreciate you. He
Which
says,
are you?
I got many.
I got Brandon's.
This is Franklin Football Brandon. My bad. He says, if we draft Slater, I'm 100% trading Connor Williams for. Okay. So look, if you trade Connor, I think Connor's more valuable to you than what you can get trading for him because Connor Williams don't look that attractive as a trade piece. So you may get like a 4th or a 5th rounder back or something like that. What if somebody gets hurt? You know, Connor Williams can step in and play for you. Connor Williams will be amazing, but he'll at least play for you. Go ahead.
And some people call me comp god. Pretty much all I care about is comp picks.
Mm-hmm.
If Connor Williams starts for you again and plays exactly how he did last year, because I know we beat him up, that's a starting guard in the league.
Yes.
So you could have him, and if he plays, then you would have him go sign somewhere for $7 million a year, and you would get like a 5th round comp pick. So you get something anyway. Just don't worry about it. But I guess in that scenario, they're saying you picked somebody and he's no longer starting. But no, you still keep him. You guys, have you people? What do you mean, you people? Have you people seen what happens when offensive linemen get hurt? Your team goes to shit.
Your team go, yeah, pretty
That's
much.
what happens.
Yeah. And you don't
Keep your linemen.
You don't want to be in them situations where you're running out some tomfoolery out there. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to figure out this screen share button because I have such an interesting super chat on my screen. Can you see this little thing?
I can add it to the stream here if I click this. I got your whole chat box in here.
The 94 Haley Ware Gregory. He changed the name, son. 94 changed the name.
He put the Gregory in.
That's damn up there. That's damn progress right there.
Wow.
Progress right there. He dropped a 20 in the super chat, says, thoughts, in my honest opinion, I think this year's first round is light. It can be light if you pick the wrong person. First round players end around pick 12 versus the usual late teen picks. Well, this is the interesting thing about your team in particular, the Cowboys, though. This is what's interesting, is that you may not need a first round pick to necessarily find all your starters. Me and Jeff talked about finding a starter in the 2nd and the 4th round in just this show. You know what I'm saying? So all you got to do is pick the right guy at 10, which is the best player, whoever that may be. Just pick the right guy and you'll be fine. I think we can find multiple contributors in this draft. Talking about the Cowboys at 10 if you draft properly.
Yeah, no matter how light it is, I mean, you're 10th. If that number is 12, good news. You're 10th.
Yeah, right. Sure.
What are you worried about? By the way, James said, if either of you had a chance, appreciate you, James. You're a beast. Had a chance to look at McCready or Sherwood, cornerback and safety from Auburn. And James, I feel very sad telling you this. I'll get there. I have not.
It's early for me, player.
I'm 11 safeties and like 16 corners in, but I have not watched the Auburn guys yet. But when I do, I will tell you.
You know what, though, Jeff? We feel bad telling people no, we haven't watched them. I think we spoil people because it's February 24th. We got so much time. Now, when the time starts to go on, it's going to crunch and it's going to happen fast. But to say where we at now, we'll be good by April.
I watched 100 players and it's February. Y'all gonna chill out, and 5 or 6 of them play offense. Haley Ware Gregory 94s. If we agree the first round is light, is a trade down an option or a mandate? If you really think the first round has 12 first round players in it, you better not trade down.
Yeah.
Pick one of them. But and I've done this before because Voch hates doing this. And your Beast 94s. Voch hates all of the simulators. I've done 36,947 simulations on my YouTube page. That's how many I've done. If you trade down to like 17 to 20, you will see that the first round is light, and it sucks because you're looking and you're like, oh, Horn's gone. Oh, all three corners are gone. Oh, both my tackles are gone. Oh, JOK's gone. Even Micah Parsons, if you wanted him. Oh, he's gone. Oh, crap. Somebody took Barmore. And you're sitting there going, all right, so at 17, am I picking Nick Bolton or what's my plan here? Is there a Darrisaw's gone? Is there a fourth tackle? So to that point, be careful. That's all I'm saying is be careful trading down.
Sure. I really wouldn't mind. I don't want to leave the right player. If it's Rashawn Slater, I'll leave him. If it's any one of the corners, I'm going to get those multiple day 2 picks and be a gangster in day 2. I like JC Horn, but Paulson Adebo and Richie Grant is better than JC Horn in my mind.
Yes. Yeah. I think so.
It probably adds up and make a little sense. You know what I mean? So and then if you trade back, you already got 3 picks on day 2. So you just add more picks on day 2. Like that's where the best guy is at. So you may not have this one star, but you may not need stars. The Cowboys, in my opinion, need complementary players. So you get to get your linebacker and your one tech and your corner and your safety and your offensive line. You good?
Yeah, because I think even in that trade where you said Adebo and Grant, I was like, but you left out. You're still going to have a first rounder somewhere, right? Like you're trading back.
So sure.
In theory, you're talking about being able to pick Adebo anyway with the 2 you already had, pick Richie Grant with the 2 that you added, and in the first round, you still took Nick Bolton or who's your top edge or whatever. Like, yeah, trading down is fun.
Sure. We're going to read 3 more of these super chats, and we're going to get into these player breakdowns before it gets too late. This will be a 3-hour show if you let it. It won't be a 3-hour show if you let it.
I swear to God, it won't.
Moonlight every day 247 drop 5 in there. He says, what's up with Aleem McNeil? Do you like him better than Marvin? I don't like him more than Marvin, but he's fine. Jeff likes him a little more than me. Jeff got him as like a second round guy. He's more of a third rounder to me. He looks a little lost sometimes. Like he does well eating up the space, but he doesn't do well after eating up the space. So I would put him in a category where I would put Tyler Shelvin at a guy that's just kind of strong and take up space around, late 3, early 4.
Both in 2 for me. Marvin Wilson and McNeil. I like them both. And I tell you, the whole world hates Marvin Wilson. Except us. Me and you.
They better got it. But you know what? This is what I don't like though, Jeff. They're ignoring his 2019 film because they phony, but they saying that they hate his 2020 film, but they'll hype up Bobby Brown and shit, or they'll hype up Davion Nixon, or they'll hype up to Daryl Slayton. And these people put me to sleep, brother Jeff.
Yeah. Bobby Brown's interesting because his good reps are really, really good, but then he'll have literally 15 plays where he sucks, and then he'll have 2 really dominant plays, and I'm just like, does he maybe Marvin Wilson has some of that in 2020 where you're like, what is this? Is this injury? Is it complacency from dominating the last 2 years? Like, what's going on here? And that's what you had to figure out before you pick him. But I've seen dominance, play in, play out from Marvin Wilson. How many D tackles can you say that about in this draft? The answer, only Marvin Wilson. Even Barmore. It took getting towards the end of the year before you started seeing that player. Marvin Wilson did it for 2 seasons where he was whipping everybody's ass.
Barmore don't even start. Barmore probably play like 30 snaps a game. And it makes sense why he's only good in the second half, because it takes the Alabama offense to get up by 30 or 40 points, and then the other team got to throw the ball. So now we got to pass rush with Barmore. So that kind of makes sense. But if Barmore played 30 snaps, he only got 15 good plays. So imagine how I feel about Bobby Brown, who plays 60 snaps but only got 2 really good plays. It makes me sick.
Real quickly, Kevin stopped by with a 2 spot. Any good OT that might be available in the 3rd or 4th? Guess what, Kevin? That's a question for Voch, because I hate offensive line, at least for now, because I started with corners and linebackers and D tackles and edge rushers and safeties, and offense is where I'm just kind of starting. So Voch, give me a 3rd or 4th round tackle. Go.
I don't think 3rd or 4th round tackles are good for the most part. Yeah, you can find 1/3 or third or fourth round tackle that ended up pretty good. But for every one that's good, there's 40 that's terrible. Now, why is that? One, because there's not a lot of good offensive linemen, but even bad offensive linemen get taken in the first round because there's not as many offensive linemen. So I may not be a fan of Andre Dillard, but his ass is going to go 21. I may not be a big fan of Isaiah Wilson or Titus Howard, but their ass is going to go early because that's how offensive line works. So in my mind, I'm not a huge Leatherwood fan or a huge Cosme fan, but just by default, they're going to end up going late first, early second.
Yeah, I would say one of them will probably sneak in, maybe even both.
Yeah.
I mean, you could get 6-0 tackles in the first round.
Sure.
That could happen. That could happen for sure.
And just an update, Tevin Jenkins from Oklahoma State. He's my offensive tackle 3, by the way, behind Panay Sewell at number 2 and behind Slater at number 1. So
he's going in the first round. And I just want to say thank you to Brandon Griffin hitting us with the value meal. You're a sweet, sweet man, Brandon Griffin.
Brandon also dropped 5 over on my side. And Brother Von,
Brandon.
The only reason I'm getting Brother Von in, he dropped 10, so I got to get him in. But we got to go down this list of players because we got to get Jeff about it. The Lombardi scenario: Cowboys on the clock at 10. We draft the best player available, best corner, safety, linebacker, D tackle, O line, still on the board. Who you taking? Out of your scenario, out of those positions, I think Rashawn Slater is the better of the players. So I would take.
What were the positions again?
The best corner, safety, line, the best of every position. Corner, safety, linebacker, D tackle, O line. If the best player on my board of those positions are there, which one do I take? So it's for you is JC
Sewell and Slater would be my top 2 players, even when you throw in all the safeties, corners, linebackers, D tackles. My offensive linemen are the 2 best players, so it'd be one of them.
Yeah, pretty much. I just think that highly of Rashawn Slater, so he'll be higher than what's his name? He'll be higher than like the corners for me. All right, let's get into some of these player breakdowns, man. Shouts out to Texas D903. Hell yeah, Scoutkast drop 5 in the super chat. Appreciate you, sir. I kind of had a hard time with the Georgia kids. With Eric Stokes and Tyson Campbell. I feel like I looked at them and I identified who they are, but that's part of my problem too, because I take the hype that people give them and I go into the film with that hype. If I just would have watched them regular, I'd be like, those are some pretty good cover dudes. Let's see. Eric Stokes is probably a little more athletic. I hate to see him in zone. I would rather see him just be faster and run around a little bit. When he's in zone, he just kind of floats a little bit. I hate that. I wish he would work the sideline a little better. His recovery speed is pretty good. When he does look back and find the football, he's pretty good at it. You can tell that Tyson Campbell is fast, but somehow people still end up running past him. He ain't got the best ball skills in the world, but I can see him covering people. He like to punch the shit out of people in their chest at the line of scrimmage. That's fun. So what I took from this is Eric Stokes is a poor man's Caleb Farley, and Tyson Campbell is a poor man's Patrick Surtain. Poor man.
Okay. They can both run like the wind.
Sure.
They both won state in the 100 and 200 in high school. So they can both run, and they're both tall, right? So that's the starting point where NFL teams are going to be like, yes!
Sure.
I think Stokes is the better player on tape.
Yeah.
I thought Campbell – I have Stokes above Campbell.
I do.
Because I think Stokes is a better cornerback. I think Campbell is probably a little bit taller, and I actually thought he was a little more fluid when it comes to like flipping your hips and all that, but I don't think Campbell can find a football. I don't think that's a problem. Yeah. And Campbell gave up more yards in the Alabama game than Stokes gave up all year.
Right.
So, like, Stokes is the guy that people didn't really throw at because they kind of look similar when you're watching them. You're like, okay, 6'1", 6'2" corners that on the in-breaking stuff, they're going to be kind of late, but they're big, they're long, they're fast. And so I got them both as I think I had Stokes in the 3rd and Campbell in the 4th or the back of the 3rd. And that's them for me.
I don't know where I saw that, but somebody said that somebody had like Eric Stokes as a top 5 guy. So I got excited. I was like, oh, let's see. Let's watch some film on. I was just about to watch some film on Eric Stokes, but I don't see Eric Stokes as a top 5 guy for me. It's a lot of cornerbacks in this draft, dude, and I can't put Eric Stokes up there with the greatest of them. He may end up around my 10 range or so. Tyson Campbell, like I said, and I had problems with him because he looked fast, I'm like, why the hell people keep running past you? You know what I'm saying? And it just kept. I couldn't understand. So I was looking for you to kind of help me with that. But I think we're on the same page. They're both just solid covering people. They can run around a little bit. Stokes is a little better than Campbell. I don't like Stokes in zone at all. Let Stokes just chase and find people and run with them. I think that's the best thing for him. Don't let him be smart. Tyson got to go. He probably won't play very much for me. You had a comment. You was talking about these guys, how they both kind of give up yards on these in-breaking routes. Greg Newsome don't do that.
No.
Greg Newsome like to plant his foot, break on stuff, and finish. He I don't know how tall he is because I'm not a measurement guy, but he looks around 5'10", 5'11".
He's listed at 6'1".
He listed at 6. He looks small on tape. He looks a little shorter. But he does have arm length. I like that a little bit. Like I said, great acceleration. I was just talking about the other cats. They don't use the sideline very well. Oh shit, Greg Newsome will sideline. You will be out of bounds quick. You will be out of bounds. Fuck with Greg Newsome. I really like them in zone and man coverage. He finds the ball naturally. He gets his head around quick. He can run with people while looking in the backfield and zone coverage. It sounds easy, but a lot of people will look in the backfield and get lost. I think Greg has he has a really good feel on where the route is going. You can call that route recognition or whatever. But I really like him on these underneath quick ass routes where he identifies it, puts his foot in the ground, and makes a play on the football. He'll swipe and finish. Finishing is the most important trait in football. Greg Newsome got a little bit of that. I got to keep watching. He's like a top 5 guy for me, though, Jeff.
He's corner 7 for me.
Who's he behind?
But you could put him at cornerback 5 if you wanted to. The top 3 guys, and Joseph would be top 4 guys. Mm-hmm. I have him right behind Asante Samuel Jr. and Elijah Molden, my 2 slot guys. But that's like, I love them all. Like Newsome is so good at the catch point. My biggest thing about Newsome is there's nothing he could have done about it. Northwestern runs so much of that cover 3 where he's just kind of bail, but still you can see the read and react. You can see the quickness and the decisiveness and the smarts. You can see a lot from him. So I'm a big fan. When I say cornerback 7, know that means I love 7 cornerbacks in this draft.
And you have the right to change your opinion. I like what you were saying, that he's kind of in that category with Samuel and Molden. The reason I give him the advantage, you said it, I think, and we're just like projecting here because I ain't got many games on him. I had to go backwards or whatever, but just projecting, I think he'll play better versus bigger people. You know,
he can play outside.
Yeah. To where I look at Samuel, Asante Samuel. Yeah, I look at Samuel and I'd be like, yeah, you could play outside, but I could see, like, if you was to play against Michael Pittman with the Colts, whatever, Michael Pittman is just body and slant you all day. You know what I'm saying? I don't see people bodying and slanting Greg Newsome because he's physical. He's an angry little dude. Not many of these guys do much in the run game for me, but in terms of like competitive, like versus the route or whatever, he's an angry, physical, aggressive, competitive dude out there, and you're not just gonna body and slant him. You know what I'm saying?
Aaron Robinson too. If you're looking for angry, violent people, the UCF corner.
Well, he's angry because he has dreads. It's something about the athlete with dreads. They got bad attitudes and they always ready to go. I can't explain it. It just is what it is.
Okay, all right.
He looks like he's ready to smoke somebody. He's UCF, and it's hard to not find him when you watch a Richie Grant tape. I think there was even this one time where he had the interception or whatever. I'm watching Richie Grant, I'm like, hey, who's this guy getting an interception? Hey, he's physical. Hey, he's chippy. Hey, he putting people around. Who is this gangsta ass motherfucker? Who is this? And
UCF, like the UCF guys are tough.
They are tough.
They're tough. They're angry and they're physical. There's something about Central Florida that makes you mad.
Let me ask you a question, Jeff, and this is just kind of off the cuff here. I ain't even write this. So we're watching a lot more players, and I just thought about tough safeties, just tough DBs. We've watched a lot of players now. Where you at on Tyree Gillespie? Because I know that we were like pretty fair on him. I don't want to say high, but we was fair on him a little bit ago. It's like the more guys you watch, the more you just gotta put guys in front of guys on the big board side of things. And I've watched a lot of guys that I like, and Tyree Gillespie, like a late third, fourth round guy, maybe now. What you think?
That's right where I got him.
Yeah.
Right there. So I got it. My 3 is up here, my 4 is down here, and Gillespie is right here. And maybe he's better than that, but I think you see the other guys where you're like, okay, Gillespie, his thing is he's solid, right? That's what he is. Mm-hmm. He's solid. But then you find the other guys who you're like, ooh, hellified and run support. Ooh, he's going to force turnover. Ooh. And so Gillespie just kind of starts leaking down because you're like, all right, solid is later. These guys are going up here. So, yeah, that's where I got him 3 or 4.
And this is why you can't ask us questions in January, because there's just so much more work to do. I still like Gillespie. I think Gillespie's first half versus Alabama is probably some of the best tape in his just some of my favorite tape to watch in this draft. It was just an incredible first half. But it's like the more you keep watching guys, it just happens that, hey, fourth round player is good too. Like if I ended up with Tyree Gillespie, in my mind, he'll be a rotational strong safety, special teams knock you out dude. In my mind, that's what he'll be, and that's fine if he ends up being that.
Sure,
cool. But yeah, that's a pretty good point on that. Let's see what else we got here. That's all the DBs I got for y'all today till we watch some more DBs. You didn't watch offensive line yet because you hating. Let me ask you this, brother Jeff, before we get up out of here. We've done Q&A already with all these damn super chats. Appreciate the contribution on my side. Appreciate everybody that has donated super chats on Jeff.
Why don't you just hold on with your appreciate. Hey, enemy Michael. Voch loves him, but Jeff, is Zach Wilson truly QB1-2? I hate quarterback. Yeah. I'm gonna get there. I know that I like Justin Fields more than it seems like everybody else does, so we'll see. And we'll see. That's my answer. I know that Trevor Lawrence is really good. Zach Wilson, I watch play live, but I haven't studied him, so I don't know. I'll probably call Voch crazy because I can't wait. And how to die 3LO Dylan? Dylon? Hi, Dylon. How does Richie Grant stack up against the second round safeties we talked about the last few years? Delpit, Taylor Rapp, Thornhill.
I think he's better. I think he's better than all of them.
Yeah, I think he's better than all of them too. I actually was a big Taylor Rapp guy because I didn't care about his 40 time because I was just like, he's a football player, period, end of story. Thank you. I'll take him. I had Rapp ahead of Thornhill. But yeah, those were guys that I had as like, if you were stacking up your top 50, they'd have been probably like in the 35 to 45 range. I bet Grant for me will be in the 20 to 30 range in this draft, if I had to guess.
This is what separates everybody from me. If you can cover one high, if you got range one high, you jump over all them box safeties. So all them Xavier McKinney's or whatever, if you got a range, you jump. I like Grant Delpit so much. I like Grant Delpit's range so much. I was willing to say I care nothing about his tackling. He's the last line of defense. Let that dude go out there and cover.
And he was a bad tackler.
But when I look at Richie Grant, actually,
he's a good tackler.
Does Richie Grant tackle better than Grant Delpit? He does. And are they both similar? You play single high, so that does for me. Richie Grant, I probably only like Darnell Savage, Lil Missile more than him. I probably only like him a little more, but I loved Lil Missile. Y'all can go
I only like Ardarius Washington better because I think that having Honey Badger on your team is a good idea. I don't know why other people don't want Honey Badger on their team, so I'll take him.
I mean, Honey Badger is cool, but Richie Grant is Earl Thomas, son. What are you doing?
And Earl's fine. Earl's fine. Are you saying that Richie Grant's crazy?
He can be crazy. Like, look,
you're talking about earlier Earl before the stuff.
He can be crazy, Earl. In my mind, I played offense, and there was this thing about offense where we just looked at people on defense as they weren't smart, and you had to be a little crazy to just willingly run into shit like that. So yeah he can be crazy. Fine,
it's true. I mean, I ran slants. You have to be crazy to do that. You know what else you have to be crazy to do? I did this in college. I got a concussion on it. Be a gunner and cover punts.
Yeah,
you have to be crazy to do that because you don't see the block coming that destroys you and turns the lights out. That sucks. Everything in football is crazy. That's why we all have CTE.
I just play center. I ain't.
Center never gets hit. Yeah, that's a real safe position.
We get hit, but we don't get run and start hits like linebackers deep as we go. Last question before we wrap this thing up. Marlon Streets GB.
I'll try here. Let me try. Hold on. Because I put him on my board. Tui Pelotu?
Tuipulotu. That's probably what it is, something like that.
Tuipulotu.
What do you think of him? But I also want your ideas on Jay Tufilele while you're there, because you had to have watched Jay Tufilele.
I've seen both the USC D tackles. Tufilele was opt-out, so I watched his 2019, and then I watched Tuipulotu the other day. Have you seen Tuipulotu?
I've seen both, yes.
Okay. Do you know who I wrote that one thing about him is similar to?
What's that?
Marvin Wilson. Tuipulotu has the heavy hands, get the hell off me, you will not sustain a block on me, but not the full body anger and violence that Marvin Wilson has shown on tape. So for me, Tuipulotu, I have him in the third round. Like I think he's a solid one technique. That because like he goes hard, he can anchor, he can shed blocks. Like I don't think that he's a great athlete. He's not super agile, but he gets hands off of him and he can run a little bit and he can get to the ball. I like him. I like him better than Tufilele.
I would agree too. I first saw him. He's a Senior Bowl guy, and I was kind of mad because he just kept running down the middle of people. I'm like, fam, that's not how you beat people. Just run down the middle.
Oh, I didn't see him at the Senior Bowl. I didn't even look at that yet. How he got his butt kicked?
Well, I mean, you don't like offensive lines, but
That's true.
Got his butt kicked is subjective, but he's a one tech in a pass rush drill. He just kind of ran down the middle of people, so I'm not going to create him too much on that. I think what you was looking for, he's like he has the physical of Marvin Wilson, but less polished. I'll take that because what I saw from him, first of all, I hate his run. You ever seen him run? He doesn't run like an athlete. He runs like this.
Well, he can go like his first 4 to 5 yards looks okay. It's when he has to really open up. That's
I do think he's a powerful dude. I think he has strong hands, but I think he's missing some of that, like we said, polish earlier. But like Marvin has a certain control about him, you know, to where even if it's a double team, and we talked about Tyler Shelvin having this too, where I could just kind of put hands on two people and everything stops. You know what I'm saying? And then I can just go accordingly. I just think two people blocking him because he's just so hard to deal with because he's naturally strong. I don't think he's like football strong. I just think he's like, as a man, I'm an islander and I'm just stronger than you. Like I just got birth strong. I like his hustle though. I like his hustle. Question. Since we moving on to these other tackles, how many guys do you think in this draft would be better if they just played at the position that they would naturally be better at? I look at Jay Tufilele. I don't like him as a 3 tech, but if that dude was just a quick running ass 0, or just like a
I mean, as long as you're pass rushing, because my notes say he's got no anchor. Like I think Tufilele gets moved around.
He does. I think he gets moved around because he doesn't understand his job is to not be moved. I think somebody over there at USC is like, hey man, you're a big fast moving dude. Go be a slasher. You remember how like
that's what he does, right? He's trying to shoot every gap and he's got some agility and some quickness and he makes some plays, but I'm like, I don't know. Tufilele, I got him in the 4th round, around behind his teammate. I was just like, he's a 3 technique that doesn't have the anchor and he isn't like super quick first step. So he's a try hard active D tackle.
He is strong and he's fast though, Jeff. It's some guys you got to watch and like project with him because his film ain't great. And he's still like a 4th round, like Tyler Shelvin's better than him, you know, for me. You know, but I just got to project and look at him and be like, yo, man, if I put this dude at like 1 tech or something and just let him be penetrating A gap dude, I'd be pretty happy about Jay Tufilele. Did you watch the
I think you're adding an L and an E.
I'm just being goofy with it. It's probably Tufilele. But Tufilele just sounds a little more.
Should we do hold on. Tuipulotu?
You can call him whatever. I'm calling him Marlon T.
Okay.
I'm calling him Marlon T.
Fair.
Last question before we move on. Did you see USC versus Oregon?
Yes.
Did you see the play? My dad calling me.
Which one? 19 or 20?
19.
Okay, so Tufilele. Oh no, Tufilele. I saw Notre Dame and Stanford, so I need to go watch Oregon.
It's not really much to see or nothing like that. It's just that Tufile ends up from B gap, ends up in C gap, and he lines up over Sewell. But they both have no clue what to do with their hands. But they both just big and quick moving, and
Just
they
smash into each other.
run into each other and just do. And Tufile falls, and Sewell go, "Well, I guess I put my hands on you now." And he just kind of falls too. If anybody can go on YouTube and find 2019 Oregon versus USC, go find J Tufile run into Sewell.
Not that many L's. It's just the one.
JT. J Tough from USC. It's a pretty fun watch. Did you have any other players you just kind of wanted to hit the people upside the head with before we wrapped up?
I don't know. Is there anybody else I've seen like this week that I really liked? Kentucky linebacker. I'm gonna call him Jammin because I've never heard his name said, but it's Jamin. It might be Jameen. It might be anything, but I'm going with Jammin Davis. He's good. Like he's a potential top 50, but I've got him at the top of the third right now. Ohio State, they have an extra linebacker named Hilliard. He's pretty good. He's pretty good. Like they got Tough Borland, Pete Werner, other guys in the middle, and then they got Baron Browning, but they also have Justin Hilliard, who showed up the last few games of the season. So they got 4 linebackers, and the 2 I like the most are the 2 that played the least, Browning and Hilliard. So there's some random names that I've seen lately that I kind of like.
Yeah, man, we'll work on it. We got plenty of time to do this. We got to the end of April. What the good people have been asking me on the social medias, I kind of been ignoring it, but when is Scoutkast going to start looking at like offense for real?
I'll do it. Fine. It's time. I think once I've done 100 defensive players, I think I can probably watch offense now. All right.
I think we're like well into day 3 when it comes to like
defense.
Yeah. Like safety, linebacker, D line or whatever.
All right. By the time we talk next week, I will be 3 rounds deep on the offensive line.
Oh.
2.5. 2.5 to 3 at tackle, and then some guards and centers.
Would you like me to make you a list, sir?
Hell yes. Yeah. I know who I got to watch. I've seen the top 2. I've seen Darisaw, so I've seen 3. I know I got to watch the Oklahoma State kid. I think Notre Dame has a dude. Eichenberg.
Creed Humphrey. So I'll send you the list off air when me and you talk about it. You know,
okay.
I'll text it to you so you have a nice.
Include commentary.
What do you mean, sir?
Like, I don't want to be influenced going into the tape. Like, I don't want you to be like, oh yeah, and this guy who everybody likes, he sucks. Like, I don't need that in my brain when I go in.
I'm not gonna. No, Darisaw is definitely lazy, but I'm not gonna.
Darisaw is good.
Darisaw is fine, but he's lazy, Jeff.
He looks lazy because the 2 you watched before him are super athletes, Sewell and Slater.
But we can compartmentalize when we watching Marvin Wilson. Marvin not a super athlete, but he got big boy hustle. We know what relative big boy hustle is.
Okay.
Darisaw,
I like that.
Darisaw is fat man fat. Anyway, I take it back and seeing fatter than Tyler Shepard. Tyler Shepard, a big ass boy. Anyway, we're gonna wrap this thing up, man. I'm Voch Lombardi, VOCHLOMBARDI. Come find me on the YouTube. I talk Cowboys. I talk draft because it's draft season right now. In the regular season, we're gonna do Cowboys. All that good stuff. Twitter, patreon.com/Voch Lombardi. Come over and chill with us. Jeff Cavanaugh on the YouTube, JC1053 on Twitter. You can listen to him on the radio, 1053 The Fan. Go check their website out and go do all their little work and click on all their little videos and tell them Jeff Cavanaugh sent you. They think highly of him.
So that they know that I'm a company man. 1053 The Fan, 1053thefan.com, the radio.com app, Tree of Gondor on my hoodie. Shout out to Lord of the Rings on this beautiful. What day is it? Wednesday, Thursday? What day of the week is it?
Today is Wednesday.
Okay, thank you.
All that good stuff. Tell Virgil, right brick on my brick. You never know what somebody's going through, so don't be a dick, man. You love them. You know what I'm saying? Love them. We just peeped this out, man. We just went through this trying time where we was tested of our humility. Can we stay humble in the face of adversity? You know what I'm saying? The last thing somebody needs is dick behavior from somebody. You know what I'm saying? So just love people. You don't know what they going through, dog. You don't know what their situation is. So just hold it down for the Woski. Hold it down for the Peasky Whiskey. You know what I'm saying? Till next time. Peace.
Pay it forward. I love you.